I'm Jesse with Living Tree Community Foods, and we're going to be talking today about alive green drinks. We're going to be talking about fasting, and we're going to be talking about vigorous exercise. These are three integral components of a way towards bubbling, streaming aliveness, and healing. They're part of our way at Living Tree Community. I would be the first to say that they are by no means the entire story, but they're a part of the way along in the right direction. I'm here today to tell you about our threefold way at Living Tree Community that we have evolved over not a few years. And basically what we advocate is a live food diet, intermittent fasting, and vigorous exercise. And that's what I'd like to talk about today. We believe that a live food diet in and of itself cannot really do it. In other words, live food, fasting, and exercise are all integral parts of a whole, a larger whole. And that's what I'd like to talk about. I'd be the first to say it's by no means the entire picture, but it's a significant part. Let's begin with food, of course. In our understanding, nothing can be more enlivening than finely divided greens. And I'm referring, of course, to a green smoothie. And as I recall, in some excavations in a frozen lake in Switzerland, when they actually studied the bodies of the residents who, after their lives were buried in the lake, they found that in their stomachs there was a sort of a gruel. This consisted of using a mortar and pestle and just grinding up with a mortar and pestle the various wild plants and greens and whatever that were growing in the vicinity. So this goes way, way, way back. In our own times, it was Dr. Kirschner here in California who first hit upon the concept, as far as we know, of green smoothies. And this goes way, way back to the 50s. And in the 50s, he was using a blender to make green drinks of various wild plants. Primarily, he would use fillory and malva and purslane and comfrey and whatever, and he would put these in a blender with some spring water and some dates to mitigate the harsh taste. And he'd blend this up and he would feed this to his patients, and he was curing people. He achieved some very, very significant cures indeed. His magnificent book, which I commend to all of you, called Nature's Healing Grasses, is certainly available. It's on Amazon, and I highly recommend it. So today, let's get started. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing, instead of using bottled water or spring water, which is rather problematic in some instances, or to some people, what we're going to do, we're going to be using juice. And we're going to be starting with some organic tangerines. And what we'll do is to peel the tangerines and simply put them in our blender. So instead of spring water, we're using juice just as nature created it. And here we go. Here in California, we're so blessed, especially here in the Bay Area, with magnificent, vibrant fruits and vegetables. And that's 20. And of course, if you're into gardening or urban agriculture, you have vibrant salad greens, for 12 months of the year. So here we go. We're putting the tangerines in the blender. Good, we have our tangerines in the blender. We're going to the fun part. What we're going to do is to add a chunk or two of some organic ginger, which is always a good thing to add to smoothies. It's so healing and it's so fragrant, and it also enlivens the taste so significantly. Then we're going to add some garlic, and instead of using just ordinary garlic cloves, which you can find in any store, we're going to use fresh garlic. And since the most enlivening part of the garlic happens to be the green tops, we'll do that. We'll put the garlic in there. And then we're going to add some carrots. So here we go. We'll chop the carrots and put them in here. They're organic carrots that have been grown locally. And here we go. California is one of the few places now in the drear of winter that one can be blessed with fresh fruits and vegetables, even in the midst of a chill and cold. So here we go, and let's give that a blend and see where we're at. Okay, now here we go with the living greens. First, we're going to use a purple mustard kale from a local farm here in the vicinity. We'll put that in. And then we're going to use a red Russian kale. And we'll just chop it coarsely and we'll toss that in. Okay. And we'll give it a blend. Beet, of course. So we're going to add a beet, and we'll blend this up. Add some of this. It gives it a wonderful texture. Okay. We're going to supercharge it with this wheatgrass. This is a tray of wheatgrass that I've just propagated in my garden. And we're going to take a clump of wheatgrass, just like this. This is pure power. And we're going to put the wheatgrass in. Here we go. And we're going to blend it up. Here we go. Doesn't that look vibrant, rich, and alive? There are those who talk about alive foods and talk about the enzyme or talk about this or that vitamin and mineral being preserved by keeping it at low heat. Our view and attitude is that it's not the enzyme, it's not the various nutrients, all of which are important, but what really matters is the energy, the biological energy, the chi, the prana, the life force, the orgone that's in the food. And that's why we try to process foods at low temperature. In our case, here at Living Tree, we keep things below 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So here we have our green smoothie. And I'd like to say a couple more things about this too. There's so much hype on the web about superfoods, magical foods, miracle foods, and so forth. To us, the true miracle foods are the parsley, lettuce, celery, and Swiss chard that you have propagated yourself in your backyard garden, in your community garden, in your urban agricultural plot, in your edible schoolyard, in your edible park, in your edible landscape. That would be, and that is, the true miracles foods. You do not need maca. You do not need acai. You do not need goji berries. What all you need, and all you need to rely on, are locally grown living greens. And of course, supercharge them with wheatgrass, with barley grass, or whatever. And that's all that's necessary. We live or suffer under what I call the Ponce de Leon concept, or complex. The Ponce de Leon complex. And all of us are searching for some fountain of youth that will take the warts off our nose or the wrinkles off our faces and make us look and appear 20 years younger. There is no such thing really, but there are plenty of people out there who will gladly sell you any such concoction. The true miracle, once again, are in the living greens that you yourself grow with love, care, and devotion, which, by the way, is an essential part of any type of production, of any type of work, and especially matters in agriculture. You can be sure that the plants are sensitive to the energy that you bestow upon them. So here, America is a green drink, a vibrant green that's just brimming with life forces. We've created it from several types of kale, from a kale mustard, from living garlic, from and from ginger and from avocado. And you can be sure that nothing can be more healing than such a finely divided concoction, such a concoction of finely divided greens. So here we go. Tasting is believing. And let's go forward and let's recreate, restore, and heal these United States. We consider fasting an integral part of a live food diet. I myself fast every Monday. I start my fast Sunday night and go through Tuesday morning, of a span of around 36 hours or so. And I find this makes the rest of the week possible for me. It helps me to gather my energies, to focus and center myself, and paradoxically, it gives me more energy than I normally would have. One of the reasons why this is so is that so much of our energy is devoted to digesting food. And when you're giving your stomach and intestines a rest, that force or power is available to do things in the world out there. So it's something to think about. And if you search Dr. Mercola's website or that of the Health Ranger, you'll see some magnificent articles on what they call intermittent fasting. Something you should all look into. I strongly recommend it. And I usually break my fast first thing on Tuesday morning, or sometimes at the Berkeley Farmers Market here on Tuesday. One of the things you should consider, and the most difficult part of the fast, is not so much the fast itself, but coming off the fast properly. You've got to resist the temptation to gorge yourself with food all of a sudden. The best way to come off a fast is on juices, on fruit juices, or on green smoothies. Certainly it should be on live food, and you should eschew even the thought of coming off a fast on any sort of cooked food. I'd like to talk about vigorous exercise. As we see it, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity in this world where so many of us are sitting in front of a tube all day long. So my concept is, when waking up in the morning, before breakfast ideally, try to get into some movement, be it yoga or Tai Chi or dance or whatever it might be. Get the energy flowing. Try to overcome some of the tightnesses and the blockages and loosen a bit of that armoring with which we are all afflicted. So you might want to consider a way of walking. We call it the Jinga, and it's something like this. And from this, you can develop all sorts of remarkable things. So there you have it. These 3 components of green drinks. All you need is an ordinary kitchen blender. No exotics. All you need really are simply parsley, lettuce, celery, Swiss chard, either that you've grown yourself or you've purchased at a local farmer's market. And then, why not consider taking 1 day a week out, or maybe even a half day, and just fasting on water, bottled water, spring water of course, and then waking up each day and have the joy and pleasure and wonderment of doing some stretches, yoga, Tai Chi, or whatever. These are the first steps towards becoming more and more alive. And why are we interested in this? We're interested in this, first of all, to heal ourselves, but more important, we've got to embark upon some such path because we have a great work to do. And that's to restore and to heal this great nation that seems in some sense to have lost its purpose and its way. We can, and that's what's really important. So I urge you, with these 3 basic building blocks, to go forward from strength to strength, from vitality to vitality, heal, build, and restore.